Hey, this is the World Advice Channel too. What I want to talk about today is the problem with white South Africans. So for this video, I will explain in a simple and straightforward way what the problem with white South Africans is. So if you want to know what the problem with them are, then watch this video in order to find out. And that is all to say, so now let's get started. So when it comes to white South Africans, what exactly is a problem with white South Africans? Well, the problem with white South Africans when it comes to them as a whole, like as a group, and especially when you take into consideration history and so on and so forth, the problem with them, of course, the controversy that relates to them, of course, regarding to apartheid and all that sort of um, stuff, and so on and so forth, is the fact that the majority of them, especially for a particular age group, were were oppressors. Okay, now to explain further exactly what I mean the problem with white South Africans, okay, when it comes to them as a whole as a group, with them, of course, at one point, controlling and being in power, in South Africa, is that white South Africans, okay, even though, of course, just in general, before I continue on with this, as a whole, as I'm certain we're all aware, we all in this world, for that matter, live in a post colonial world, okay? Europeans in the past went all over the planet, um, you know, throughout the world, whether it could be places in the Americas, Asia, Africa, no surprise, Europe, well, not Europe, but other parts of the world in general, just all the other continents outside of Europe, and not only conquered the people that other groups of people, but mistreated them and even straight up oppressed them. Okay, as I'm certain we are all aware. Okay, and even though all the things that other groups of people did was terrible. The thing is that it's at least forgivable because not only did it happen a very long time ago, like 100 plus years ago in most cases, or even many decades ago, there was also a bit of a more mixed reaction to the situation, okay? There was a lot of people who were oppressors, but there's also a lot of people who were against it, okay? And that is the truth of the matter when it comes to the issues. Just like when you look at the history of white Americans, they have a history of doing some really messed up and evil shit to other races of people. But even then, the majority of them, you know, whether they had racist views or not, didn't actually directly themselves uh, take part in the activities. Okay, and aside from that, there was a lot of them who were very strongly against the things that were going on to Native Americans in America, you know, Africans, Latinos, and so on and so forth, as well as other parts of the world, you'll find exactly the same thing. There's always a sufficient amount of them who were against what was going on to other races of people, as well as not only that, there were also a lot of the people who were actually doing the evil shit, like going around in groups and finding people to attack and so on and so forth, were a small minority of them, okay? But for South Africa, it was actually different, okay? Because for South Africa, not only were pretty much all of them, especially at a particular point, all in support of apartheid, the thing is, you also have to take into consideration apartheid only ended in the 1990s. So a lot of so a lot of stuff was still going on even in very recent history. You also have to take in consideration when it comes to white South Africans, the majority of them past a certain age, okay, all took part in apartheid and did really, 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 really evil things to the black population. The majority of them did take part in it, and most of them did serve in the military and did some really effed up things and were also associates of people who did really effed up things, even if they themselves didn't do effed up things. There's a lot of really fucked up things that they did, and the truth of the matter is, that of course is the most effed up part of it, okay, especially the ones who are convicted of the most evil shit. Most, if not all of them, were not properly tried for the crimes that they committed. Most white South Africans, who did the evil shit, were not prosecuted, okay? And not just not just evil shit, the most evil shit. Because literally just about all of them all took part in apartheid. and benefited from it and did some really evil things to the black population as a whole. Okay? And that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. White South Africans did some really evil things, and to make it worse, like like anyone who's ever experienced bullying before, or at least knows quite a bit about bullying, the worst bullying is never when you feel, like, okay, this person is terrorizing other people as well. It's not just me. It's always when it literally comes off, if not maybe exactly, it actually is true. You're the only person that bullying is terrorizing. And when it comes to black South Africans, which of course a more advanced version of bullying is just really oppression, everyone else seemed to be doing well except the black South Africans. The Indians were doing well, the Chinese were doing well, every other community was doing well, at least quite well, were treated pretty decently and well. It's just that the blacks were the only ones they treated absolutely terribly. So the thing that they were putting them in a situation where it literally feels like the whole world is doing better than they're doing, and the only people who happen to get mistreated are black people. How the hell do you feel that is acceptable? But that's what they did. That's what they did. And that's the truth about white South Africans for that matter, okay? That's what they did. In all honesty, they gave off that feeling and they treated everyone pretty decently except just black people and the black population for that matter, okay? So that's the truth of the matter when it comes to the black population in South Africa. And not even just that, to add to that, they're still doing racist shit to this day. And not to mention the ones who did the most evil shit, even just recent memory, are still walking around freely, walking around that sort of stuff. And sometimes even just walking around, even having conversations with the black locals at maybe stores and stuff, and acting like nothing happened. You know, when some of the things they did was evil and terrible, and so on and so forth. So in short, what my point is for this video is that when it comes to the things that are happening white South Africans, a lot of things, especially the infamous farm murders, I can't really say, like, to be honest with you, I really feel all that bad for them, in all honesty. Because the truth of the matter is they were just doing evil shit for the longest time, and they were not being prosecuted for it, in all honesty. They're just doing the most effed up shit. They were terrorizing people, and not just like, it was 100 plus years ago, but in recent memory, and they were not prosecuted for that type of stuff. And they still have the audacity to act like they're the victims when sometimes things happen to them. But that's the truth of the matter. Why the hell would you guys even take part in that shit that they were doing? Why the fuck were they there in the first place? And why the fuck give them audacity to feel that they had the right to go to South Africa and treat the black population there as terribly as they did? That's why I don't really feel all that bad for them, the things that are happening to them, whether it could be the unemployment rates or whatnot. Because why the hell are they there in the first place? At least for other white groups throughout the rest of the world, you can kind of move on from it because it's a case of like there's a stiff resistance against the oppression, the evil things they're doing against other races, and of course, no surprise, it happened quite some time ago. So it's kind of like, okay, we can kind of move on from this. But for white South Africans, different. They were doing it up until recent history, and they were treating them terribly to add to that in their own land. So that's the truth of the matter. I can't really say I feel all that bad for them when it comes to things that are happening to them. As the saying goes, F around and find out. And now they're at the FO stage. And I can't really say I feel all that bad for them. Why are they even there in the first place? In all honesty. And they didn't even put a good effort into having the ones who did the most serious crimes prosecuted for this stuff. They're still walking the streets of South Africa in a lot of cases. And if not, they still go to South Africa to visit there, and they were still walking freely. And that's exactly the truth about South Africa and why there's so much problems. I can't say I feel all that bad for them if they, with what's going on, because it's just like you treated them badly and you expected to just simply, oh, Nelson Mandela, yay, man, Nelson Mandela. But you did some of the most terrible and evil things to the black population, and now you're saying, oh, Nelson Mandela came, or I voted for Nelson Mandela when he was trying to become president, and let's move on from all the effed up things you did. What the hell does that mean? And that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. The only thing I think black South Africans need to do is they need to be more organized. Because a lot of them, just like other black populations are not organized. When they run businesses, they overcharge prices, um, they show up late, and they're not organized. And if they were to simply stop doing it, then I'm certain South Africa and black South Africans particularly would be doing a lot better. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. That's all black South Africans need to do, and they're gonna live a perfect life. But when it comes to white South Africans, with all the evil shit that they did and all the terrible things that they did, and they got away with it, I just can't feel bad for them. I can't feel bad for them. And as the saying goes, F around and find out. And now they're at the FO stage, and they don't know what to do. So anyway, this is my video, and this is all I have to say. And simply put it, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And that is all. And simply put, I'm out. So bye.